Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. All right. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, whatever it is. It's a Meaningful Monday in Middlesex County, and we are so excited to have the one, the only, Maryellen Shuckerow of St. Vincent de Paul, Middletown. And Maryellen, you do so much. We really think you walk on water here at the Community Foundation. But I just heard before we started this that there's some really meaningful news that you just got. So let's just share that, because that will be incredibly wonderful to let everybody in Middlesex County know and beyond what's going on.
So thank you, Cynthia. You and Thayer and your foundation is a very important part of who we are as well, and partnership in our community. So I think some of the community may know, but we are building a new facility for the soup kitchen and our programs here on 617 Main Street. We purchased the land behind us on Liberty Street, so we're staying in the neighborhood, building a very comprehensive 4-story building. And the funding stack is put together, and we got confirmation now that the government has reopened that our HUD funds have been released to DOH, and we will be closing in the next hopefully few days, and construction will commence to start building the building.
Oh my gosh, that is such wonderful news. But let's talk more about your comprehensive plan for that building, because I'm not sure everybody knows. And the reason I want you to spend time on that, because it is comprehensive. It's a 360-degree view of everything. And I think you're brilliant. I told you this the other day. You are able to put together so many pieces of a puzzle and make things happen.
So we function here at 617 Main Street in the north end of Middletown in a 3,500 square foot non-ADA compliant building, which houses our soup kitchen. A lot of people just know us for the food pantry and the soup kitchen, but our third leg of our comprehensive service unit is shelter and housing. So we manage about 128 units of dedicated housing, supportive housing, as well as scattered site. And we run the cold weather shelter for the community, which we always have to rent. This year, we're renting 184 High Street. And we have capacity for upwards of 40 people a night, literally people that are living on the streets. And we run that for 4 months in the winter. So the new building is 24,000 square feet. Wow. It will house a permanent cold weather shelter in the lower level, which will also help the city when there's a heat wave in the summer. If we need a cooling center, right now we don't really have that. We use the library, we use City Hall. We will be able to open that facility for a lot of different reasons. If there's a natural disaster or a crisis in the community, there will be a 40-bed capacity. There will be plenty of showers and bathrooms and laundry service there for that. So this will be the last year that I'm renting, a warming center in the community. We'll be able to have it ourselves.
This is just phenomenal.
Street level floor will be an expanded space, dining room and soup kitchen, community meals program, which is a hub, as you know, of essential services. It's more than just meals. We provide triage services for the homeless, for anyone needing any kind of connection in the community. It's the first place people come for help. Mm-hmm. There will be 2 floors of housing, 8 units on each floor, for 16 apartments that will house formerly homeless people with case management, and that is long-term lease housing. So there's 16 units. And then my 2 floors here, which are our administration floors, will be on the top floor. Then we will vacate the building I'm sitting in today. We are a ministry of the Diocese of Norwich. And actually, the bishop owns this building, but we maintain it. And we're going to keep this building and repurpose it. I'm not sure right now what that will be, but it will be something the community will need. And the only thing we pay here is our utilities and upkeep, so it makes sense to keep it. It's in pretty good shape. It just doesn't have an elevator. And the new building will be fire sprinklered, fully ADA compliant, energy efficient. And I think it brings together the host of services we do on a daily basis between shelter and housing, essential services, our occupational therapy program, our administration, and it's just a much more comprehensive, thought out building that will serve us well into our future. Get us off of Main Street, which I think is important, not to be on Main Street any longer, but it was also equally as important and vital that we stayed in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we are remaining in our neighborhood.
So you and your team are amazing, and it's so well thought out, Maryellen, and I'm so relieved for you because I'm sure that was a lot of stress not to know whether or not the money would come through. So I'm really, really relieved. So talk about nourishing neighbors and strengthening community. That should be a t-shirt that you and your team put together, and if you don't do it, I'll do it for you.
Well, thank you.
No, really, I think that should be really something that we all think about. So that's the bigger picture, but let's dial down a little bit, and we've all know about what's happened in the most recent couple of weeks. So tell us what that's been like for you, and with partnership in your DNA, how are you reaching out beyond Middletown, if you can, with the other food pantries in the smaller towns?
Sure. So the last thing I wanted to say about the new building, it is a $13 million project. It is funded with Department of Housing, state bond funds, federal ARPA, HUD funds. City of Middletown gave us $1 million of ARPA money. And so we are accomplishing this building with no mortgage. And that took 4 years of working both politically and with our funding partners to make that happen. And Department of Housing is very excited about the project. They haven't done a project as unique as this in the state. So that I wanted to say.
Well, congratulations. We'll expect a documentary to be done on this.
So Amazing Grace, as most people know, is on Stack Street. It's a large building. We are the largest client choice food pantry in Connecticut, and we are the largest food pantry that partners with Connecticut Food Share. And so we have a great ability to store food and to network and garner food. So we have a cargo truck. Our cargo truck is out every day at grocery stores all over the region, collecting reclaimed food or food that the store can't sell anymore. We purchase a lot of our produce because we like things really fresh. So we have buying power with Cisco and other people.
Mhm.
And so, on any given day, there's close to $1 million worth of product in that building. We renovated the warehouse a year ago, put on a huge refrigerator on the back of the building. That's a walk-in that just has great capacity. That program also has a school backpack program supported by the city of Middletown. So we provide 8 elementary schools, the middle school and the high school, with weekend meals every Friday during the school year that are drop shipped to the schools for the children. I think we have about 370 in the elementary school program. We service Beeman School and the high school.
Mhm.
The high school is a market that's actually in the school that kids can come and choose the food. So that's a big part of that program. How we partner with other food pantries or people, entities that need after school program food or food is we provide all the after school food for PAL, the Police Activity Leads program, which is
Okay.
across the street for kids. We help Ecclesia Dance Group with their after school program with
Great.
food. We help the YMCA stock food there when needed. And then there's other partners. We work with AME Zion Church. They have a pop-up food market, I think once or twice a month. We help them with that because we, again, have tremendous power to garner food on many different levels. We have a bread vendor in Milford that we pick up every week that services all of our bread needs for the week, and we're able to do that. So I always feel we operate our meals program from a space of abundance versus how soup kitchens in the past have operated out of scarcity, where hot dogs and beans were the norm, or you kind of cooked whatever you had in terms of a soup kitchen. We provide a salad bar every day. We provide a full breakfast and a full hot meal lunch that's freshly made every day. Um, and the food is extremely balanced and nutrition around fruits and vegetables and fresh things. So we really espouse that folks that are struggling with food insecurity or lack of, able to make ends meet between paying the rent and buying food for their family every month, we want to provide healthy and good food. So it's sort of our hallmark, I think, that we're known by. We're serving about 1,100, almost 1,200 families a month at Amazing Grace. And the unique part of Amazing Grace is it's client choice by family size. So the patron who comes to shops what they want. And also we allow people to shop twice a month, which is very unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Most food pantries are once a month, we're twice. And people get a strong cohort of food to carry that family through many days of meals.
Maryellen, all that you do, I know some of your team and I know how wonderful they are and they have great leadership, but how in the world do you really get it all done? Who else supports you? And if somebody's inspired by what you're saying, you need to make sure, and we'll do it several times, that there's a way that people can get in touch with you.
Sure. So we're a staff of 22,
Mm-hmm.
and we're a very dedicated staff of 22. I have hardly any turnover in employees. But with that 22 people, what surrounds that, especially at Amazing Grace in the Soup Kitchen, are a core group of volunteers that come in every week. It takes about 25 people to run every shopping day at Amazing
Wow.
Grace.
Wow.
And I have a staff of 3 full-time and 1 part-time staff at that program. So we have people that go out and pick up food rescue at grocery stores that volunteer. We have a cohort that come in and are shoppers for the day with our clients. We have volunteers that run the front desk, and then we have a whole cohort of people that come in on Thursdays just to do the backpack. And all week we have volunteers that come on that are stocking food. Stocking food is a big project because product comes in, it's got to all be put in the right place
Right.
at the right time and the right whatever. So we have an extremely strong volunteer base and always have. The Soup Kitchen has the same cohort. We have volunteers every day that come in to help prep the food, serve the food, and clean up the building after that's done. So our staff of 22 rely heavily on community volunteers. And then if you kind of blossom out from there, I look at it as a core. So there's the core volunteers that are here weekly. Then there's the groups, the schools, the churches are a backbone. We have a Sunday meals program at the Soup Kitchen that's strictly provided by a different church every Sunday, and I have one staff that staffs that. Then we have that wider community that does food drives, that does third-party fundraisers all year. We're a big part of the Thanksgiving basket
Mm-hmm.
preparation for the city of Middletown, which Fellowship Church spearheads. But we're very involved in that, in getting everything that's needed Mercy High makes hundreds of pies for Thanksgiving. We serve Thanksgiving meals, so we're open that day. So we wouldn't be able to do what we didn't do for 45 years, and it has been, we're in our 46th year, without this strong, um, very diverse, multifaceted, multi-layered volunteer base behind us.
Community strength is nurturing our neighbors. So
Yes.
what's missing? So all of that. So what if you have a wish list? I think I don't know, but if the world were perfect, what is needed next for you? And by your,
We always need funding. We have no state and federal funding in the meals programs.
Mhm.
And so it's mostly private foundations like yourself. Other grant, we write a lot of grants. But the power of our donor base is amazing. And so I'll just give you an example. Obviously we had a bad crisis with the government shutdown recently where people did not receive their food stamps. So $72 million comes in every month from the federal government into Department of Social Services to service 350,000 residents of Connecticut
Right.
that receive food stamps. That didn't happen November 1st. So in Middletown, there's just shy of 8,000 families that receive food stamps. So what we immediately saw at Amazing Grace and the Soup Kitchen, but more at Amazing Grace, is a huge uptick in our 3 shopping days. So last Friday, for instance, our sweet spot is shopping between 75 and 90 people in a 4-hour time frame, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Mhm.
We shopped 156
Wow.
people in
Wow.
4 hours on Friday, and we had enough food to keep it going. A tremendous volunteer effort came in to make that happen. At the same time, donations came in to support us financially. So last week, our director over there was buying about $2,000 worth of produce a week, to make sure we had oranges and apples and
Right.
potatoes and carrots and everything we needed. We purchased that not from Food Share, from a vendor, and it's really good quality stuff. That's rare that we have to spend 2,000 a week, but that was the volume last week.
Sure.
Um, and so that people donating gives us the power to do that. Um, because we have the ability to store, freeze, and keep things cool in that warehouse, we can help other communities in need. So we service East Hampton, Portland, a little bit of Cromwell, Haddam, Higganum, Middlefield. On a regular basis, families from those communities can be serviced at Amazing Grace.
With all that you have going on, so is there a time during the year when there's a lull? People right now are so cognizant about the
Yes.
need. So
So I
what's
always call the Christmas season our rich season. That's when
yeah,
a
right.
bulk of our money comes in. I stretch that money out into the spring and summer. Spring and summer are tough. I really have to watch our money to get us over the hump of the summer when we don't get as much donations with people on vacation. But we are a $2.5 million organization, and that's the 3 buckets. That's our food and nutrition programs,
Right.
our essential service programs, and our housing and shelter programs. Our housing and shelter programs are federally funded and state funded, but not at 100%. So I still fundraise for those programs. And our case management, for instance, we've case managed the Liberty Commons building next to us, which is 40 formerly homeless people that are housed there since 1996. I have 3 staff there. And the goal of supportive housing case management is taking someone from homelessness, getting them a partner and putting wraparound services around them to work with the issues that led to their homelessness and strengthen their ability in the community and in living independently because they sign a lease and not return to homelessness. And less than 1% of the people we serve in supportive housing return to homelessness. We are also the first place someone comes when they are homeless. So they come into the soup kitchen. So we have a clinician here from River Valley Services 2 times a week. We've developed a very stylized occupational therapy program, really with Quinnipiac University. The professor is now on our board. So we have a cohort of master and doctoral students here almost year round now. I've moved it to Holy Trinity Church, so it's away from the soup kitchen. It has both a vocational track, an occupational therapy modality, and a fair trade market track. So the group goes and works with our students and professor, and they make a host of items artistically. And then we do pop-up markets all year where the client sells their work and they get 90% of that money in their pocket. And for some people that are homeless, it's the first time that
Mhm.
they can see that they've earned something. So we've run about 120 people through that program in its 3 years. It is privately funded. That funding will be running out at the end of the year, so I have to start fundraising for that. It's amazing what it's done. We've had homeless people now are housed. We've had a number of people that have built their skills well enough that they're now working. We've got people that are in long-term recovery because the model of that program is not transactional. A lot of social services is very transactional. I'm going to give you a
Mhm.
meal. I'm going to give you case management. I'm going to do this for you. My mindset with the population we serve, especially our homeless, is to look at idleness and isolation and not be transactional in that relationship, but be relational in that relationship.
Mhm.
And so the people in the OT program, the people in the soup kitchen, our staff work on a relational modality. We know our people. We know our homeless community by name. We know their stories. We know their trauma. And so the OT program is a natural next step. It takes longer, but the results of that are really
Sure.
groundbreaking, and it's getting national attention because it hasn't been done very much in a soup kitchen setting, but it's amazing. And I've hired one of our gentlemen that was in our warming center 2 years ago, now works in our dining room. And so that's the other thing we believe in here. We believe in second chances, and recovery is an up and down. It's a continuum. You can be doing well and slip, but what's important is you get right back up.
So as I'm listening to you, so we talked about the nourishing neighbors and strengthening community as it relates to food for a t-shirt motto. But I also think that that motto could be because I think of you in your description of your services as this warm blanket around those in need. So, we're going to have to get some blankets with that motto on it for you. So it's this sense of we're here for you that I hear from you, and I know your team too, and that to me is so special. So I have one other question for you before our time runs out, because all of the stuff that we've talked about, there's one more thing that you just added to your plate, and that's the drive for coats. So how can we help there? That just came out, and good grief, all this stuff, and now you're adding one more thing.
We always do that. So anyone who has a gently used, clean winter
Mm-hmm.
coat, and large sizes are helpful, they can just drop them off to Amazing Grace. We have a little racking system in the reception area, and then we make sure people have coats. We have a program here. In fact, I just picked it up from my church this morning, and we house a lot of things here between gloves, hats, warmers, underwear. We go through tons of socks. Socks,
Right.
feet are the first thing to go
Mm-hmm.
south when you're living on the streets. We've also added a primary care component to the OT program now with our partners at Middlesex Hospital. The residency program, primary care, is doing medical checkups now with our homeless population. And so feet are very important. Warm, dry shoes. If your shoes aren't dry, your socks are wet, and your feet can get seriously in trouble. So we do a lot of that. And So, anything is helpful. We've got ability to store things, and coats are really important right now. Because when you're homeless, you can go through coats because they get sopping wet. You got to take that off, put on another one. So, the warming center will be opening December 1st through
Mhm.
April 1st. That will run 7 nights a week, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Our medical program will be going there to do medical hours. We also have a street manager person, James Thomas, who runs the shelter with me, and he works Thursday through Sunday on our Middletown main streets, working with the homeless, promoting recovery. He has a recovery group Fridays at Holy Trinity Church. So we really work on recovery in all aspects, whether it's mental health, whether it is substance use disorder, whether it is recovery from homelessness, recovery from being hungry. So we look at that whole person
Right.
and work and start somewhere. It might start with coming in for a meal, and it might lead to I need housing, and how do we triage, or I need mental health care.
And thank you for building the culture that you have of building a relationship with your patrons and clients. I think that's what's missing in the world right now, and you're doing it with 5 stars after your name. So, is there a question that I should have asked that I didn't ask? Did I
You
leave
know,
anything out?
I've been in this role almost 7 years. I'm a former Sister of Mercy, and so I was here as a Sister of Mercy in the 90s with Sister Pat McKeon, our founder. Um, and now I've returned to lead the organization, and it's a very special organization. And I think people that get involved with us catch our spirit because we are very buoyant and we can have difficult days here. I think the hardest thing for me is when I have to call a parent and let them know their child has died.
Mm,
And I've done that 3 times this year,
oh dear.
um, all from addiction. And I can't give up on our people because a lot of people do. And we have to be buoyant. We have to be hopeful. We have to be say, okay, you're having a bad day, but let's try to have a better day tomorrow. Or, let's get you busy doing something today so you're not thinking about,
Right.
you know, something dark. There's dark days amongst our people, and people label them very easily. But if you hear their stories, they have more resilience than I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So we're blessed to be in Middletown. This is an extremely giving community. And my philosophy is too much has been given, you have to give back. So my leadership is about how can we help in any, whether it's a fire in the community or some kind of crisis. My first call is to our mayor's office. How can we help? What can we do? Because we step up and we're able to do it. And as long as I'm here, that will be the philosophy of who we are.
And help and hope are not bad 4-letter words. And you are
No.
so, people believe in you. And so having all of those donors and volunteers and your wonderful team behind you really is amazing. So, and besides working 24/7, Maryellen,
Work a lot.
what are you looking forward to in the next month or so?
Getting the shovel in the ground on the new
There you
building
go.
is really going to be a paramount day for this agency. It's been a dream, I think, for decades that St. Vincent's realized a new building. I think post-pandemic with federal and state funds, it was the right time. It was the right time for our municipality to rally behind us, which they have. And I think it will be a very joyful day when we have that groundbreaking ceremony, which you will be invited to.
Thank you.
And I think, it will allow us to really bring together some things that we've been doing in a much more linear, comprehensive, holistic way, where we can keep growing those programs to serve and to change people's lives and to restore lives with dignity and respect.
Well, thanks for being that warm, fuzzy blanket around the community and for nourishing neighbors and strengthening community. And Thanks for all you do, Maryellen. We
And
really
thank
do.
you. You are an extraordinary leader yourself. I always enjoy chatting and bouncing ideas off of you because one thing I do a lot late at night, my mind doesn't turn off. I've got to figure out what to do with this building now, and I have some interesting ideas, but I want to talk to the community. I want to see what the community needs. And we'll figure it out, but it's just a wonderful community to have this ministry in.
You are absolutely right. We love where we work, live, play, and have a lot of hope. So thank you,
Yes.
Maryellen.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together, we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at middlesexcountykcf.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together, we can make great things happen.